Oddly enough, they were men who were clamoring and banging that Erika Kirk should step down from TPUSA.
We don't have that because everybody wants their own little podcast, their own agenda, their own, 15 minutes of fame, all their clicks, views, and all those kinds of things. And we see it right now playing out with people. These three guys that are on their podcast, I mean, they all have an opinion and they see something that they perceive as a weakness or whatever it might be. Charlie didn't see it as a weakness. So, and I think that Charlie also knew who Erika was. There was a succession plan. There was voted on by the board.
So one of the things, and we talked about this last night on the show, were all these people, oddly enough, they were men who were clamoring and banging that Erika Kirk should step down from TPUSA. She should not be the CEO of TPUSA. Had you heard that? Had you heard this?
So somebody sent me, if you're talking about the guy named Vinny and somebody else, some other podcasts in there. Yeah. So somebody sent me that and they were asking me honestly what my thoughts were. And I said, here's the thing. Charlie and Erika's life was a divine intersection. Erika was already on a path of rooted in her faith, sharing her biblical principles every day through Bible 365, developing her Proclaim streetwear brand. I actually helped her in that, was blessed to help her in that, to develop that. She had done this incredible, all these different projects. The Romanian Angel Project was an incredible thing we did once a year, giving gifts to children in Romania. So then she had all these, she was always wanting to give and to be a part of the community and help. And that was her mother's heart as well. She already had that. She was also very much politically understood, looking at things, very connected into what was happening. She loves her country. She's rooted in her faith and her family. That was already there. Then when she met Charlie, then her life changed. She wanted to be a wife and a mother. And this is something where women, especially men, and I understand to a degree where someone like these Vinny, where they look at this and they judge that because it is a tough thing that she's doing. She didn't ask for this. And it is a very masculine role sometimes. Absolutely. However, never underestimate the voice of a strong, faithful, rooted woman and a widow, especially. I mean, we need to go back and look at history, right? I mean, Ethel Kennedy didn't curl up in a ball and die when Bobby Kennedy died or was assassinated. She went and continued his legacy and actually continued what he was doing through all these different projects. And I think there's always, when someone has something to contribute, don't ever get in their way. Because if you're not out there doing it, you're judging the person who is. And they may not do it the way that you did it. They may not have the lens or the bias or the things that you have. Imagine if all these people that are cutting Erika down and judging her actually linked arms and said, how can we help? What can we do? How can we get involved in this? Because it is a mission, as we know. The mission is still on point. And it's helping this country. It's helping families. It's getting our faith rooted again. And nothing's changed. It just looks different right now. And I think even when I talk to Erika about that, it's like everything, when men look at this and judge it, and I do hear them, and there is validity to that. Absolutely. I mean, what happened at the White House, the correspondent, when she broke down, I mean, that was a PTSD response to that, and then we all have those moments of weakness. We regroup and we pull back out again when we have the right team together. And if you have a judgment on how someone's doing something, that's fine. You can have an opinion and a judgment. However, if you're not willing to link arms and further the mission and be part of it, you're part of the problem because you're blocking whatever that is that's moving forward. And when I say that, Jason, I don't mean that as a negative connotation or a negative statement. I really mean, think about, have you reached out to Turning Point? Have you actually, to these people, that are saying these negative things, have you reached out and said, hey, I'm witnessing some things. Can I be of service? Can I be wise counsel? This is what I'm seeing. How can I help you guys? We don't have that because everybody wants their own little podcast, their own agenda, their own, 15 minutes of fame, all their clicks, views, and all those kinds of things. And we see it right now playing out with people. But that's why I said there's enough of this to go around if everybody had the courage and the boldness to actually step out. Because I do believe that voice is much louder of what can we do? How can I get involved? And it's, like I said earlier, it's in your own home. It's in your own community. It's at the local level, and Turning Point to me is local. So to me, it's just like there's plenty of people here that could easily, judge what you want to. I get it. You guys, these three guys that are on their podcast, I mean, they all have an opinion and they see something that they perceive as a weakness or whatever it might be. Charlie didn't see it as a weakness. So, and I think that Charlie also knew who Erika was.
I agree 100%. As I thought it was adorable that so many men are telling Erika to step down, but they themselves are not saying that they will step in or step up. Like it's one thing to say for Vinny or Jason Whitlock or PBD or fill in the blank to say, Erika, you need to step down. You need to step down. And they literally said, I don't know who's going to step in, but you need to step down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, if you're not asking for a leave of absence and flying from Miami, if you're not going to move your show from Nashville and fly out to Phoenix, what are you talking about? That makes no sense.
Right.
Oh, well, we don't like the way the team is going, so we want the quarterback to just put the ball down and walk off to the sideline. Well, who's going to be the quarterback? We don't know who's going to be the quarterback. We just don't want that person to be the quarterback. Like, stop and think about that. That's ignorant. It has anything to do with a sincere concern for TPUSA, a sincere concern for Charlie, Erika, or the mission of Charlie's legacy. I think they literally pulled up how many people are watching Turning Point. The Charlie Kirk show now. Charlie Kirk's there. I'm like, and you're proud of that, my guy? Like you're big proud of that. Like you actually said that with your full chest. Like you were proud to say that they're not watching the show. Now, when you turn around and they're not watching your show and they got shut down that Fort Lauderdale studio, then what's going to happen? Like, I can't believe that. So I would like to point out that Vinny was quite emotional about Erika being too emotional to be a CEO. How did Erika become CEO?
That was in the succession plan, and it was also voted on by the board, and it was Charlie's wishes, and it was talked about multiple times.
Okay, I'm going to actually give you the big screen because I really want you to say that again for the people in the back because they might not have heard that. So I'm going to give you the big screen so you can say that one more time. Say that again.
There was a succession plan. There was voted on by the board, and there were actually multiple conversations. Charlie actually said it on multiple videos, and then people in the organization heard Charlie talk about it all the time, that Erika could easily carry on. The caveat is nobody knew that this was going to be the way that it was. And I think that that's something that people don't want to understand, that, this was Charlie's wishes, and this was Turning Point as well. And everyone that knows Erika knows that she can do this.
People are phrasing it like there was a mob of people that wanted to be CEO, and Erika comes through throwing bows and stilettos to make her way up to the front of the list to seize control, as if she beat up all these men and people that to become CEO. And I'm like, why? And I heard it even last night with PBD, and I don't. If you go back and listen to it, listen to him talk about it. Listen to him talk about it, and everybody's dancing around the most obvious question. Did Charlie Kirk have a succession plan?
Right.
Was there a living will or a will and trust or whatever where he outlined what would happen? And everybody's dancing around it. They dance around it. I mean, they treat Erika like it was WWF, Royal Rumble. She's throwing people out of the ring, and she's the last one, queen of the ring. But why are you assuming that Charlie didn't have that in place? He was able to build an organization from a napkin to actually help usher in the 47th president. You mean you want me to believe that he did not have on paper somewhere? Yeah. Some kind of notarized document who would take over? You just want me to believe his wife just bowed her way through? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that's why it's hard for people, like I said, it's hard for people to understand because maybe they wouldn't do it that way or they would question something else, whatever. And Erika that's not her personality. She didn't ask for this, but she will step in and she will definitely do her best to carry on the legacy. Any woman, if my husband had a business and I was, I was behind the scenes, I was the helper and something happened to him and he said to me, hey, this is yours. If something ever happens to me, nothing would stop me from continuing that. Nothing. Because there's a commitment. And we used to do these things generationally with legacy. It was just a given. I carry on my father's legacy. I carry on my husband's legacy. And so when those words are the root of their relationship, legacy, country, faith, family, it's taken very seriously. And it's even like with myself. I'm not in any way, shape, or form involved in any kind of a situation at all. However, I know that I will continue to be of service however I can to help in any way that I can to continue this, whatever small role or whatever I can do to help, because I believe in the mission. And that's where I think that people forget. It was mission driven, founder led. And that's something that, again, it's going to have to be visionary led right now because we don't have Charlie. Right. But the mission can still continue, and it will continue. And then anyone that wants to come on board, wants to continue that, maybe have a conversation with them. I mean, this is something that I don't think anything, she definitely didn't come in through stilettos, if you know, or they might've been sneakers. Right. But it was literally just a board voted on it. The people that know her intimately in that board know her capabilities. I mean, Erika is very well educated, multiple degrees. I mean, multiple businesses. I mean, she's built everything from the ground up. Like I said, there was an intersection there. And it was literally something that they both were already working on. And then Erika became the helper and Charlie just took it from there.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.